That was the quick music version. That was the quick music version because SpaceX just dropped some stuff about Starship, and I figured to do an emergency space and rocket review before we get into maximalizing. Do you want to maximalize? Maximalize all the things. The thing you've been linked 1,000 times in chat. Dude, my inbox just exploded. It popped. You need some maximal maxing. That is the end game of maximalizing. All right? That's the end game. That's the end game. Okay. I haven't watched this yet, so this is my genuine 100% reaction. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Hold up. There we go. Adjust the camera. I got to make sure it captures my good side, which is all sides because I'm awesome. I'm not. Anyway.
Attention all flight crew members. Flight is go for launch.
Flight is go for hamster.
It's been just over a month since Flight 5. Goal is to get that turnaround time down to hours.
That shot though, that's sick.
Stage separation.
30 seconds, no catch decision.
Booster offshore divert.
Tune in and watch the ship fly around planet Earth.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Relight demo startup. And shutdown.
Starship is at 100 kilometers altitude. Flaps now have control of the vehicle. Starship has started the subsonic belly flop.
It's so sick, dude. Dude, that's awesome. That is so cool. Look at that thing. It's scorched to hell, but still in one piece, man.
Starship has landed.
Bro. Did you see that? Who saw what I saw on the screen? Send it. The drone shot. Yeah. Hold up. Back it up. Before chop sandwiches. Oh, shoot. Get the frick out of here. What are you doing? Get out of here. We're all dead. Get the frick out. That shot. Okay. It floats. Okay. There was some confusion as to whether a starship that's landed can float. It floats. Oh, it floats. Yeah, that's pretty conclusive right there. Yep. That is float maxing right there. Sorry. That is a big buoy. Yeah, dude. Can you believe that? Look at that. Dude, that thing just came back from space. Dude, it's still, to this day, it's, my brain doesn't work when it comes to this stuff. Like, Do you not know how big that thing is? I've never seen one in person. That's changing soon. That thing just came back from space. That thing is bigger than a shuttle external tank. This was unheard of 10 years ago. Unheard of. Hey, Mike, what's going on? Float maxed and buoy build. Oh, man. Dude. Floats better than a Titan sub. Oh! That's messed up, man. People died. Float max and buoy build. Serious, we're actually all about maxing here. We are taking everything to the max in 2025. This joke's gonna get old real quick. Yep. But I plan to drive from Pearl immediately to Starbase once I arrive. Reality, dude, can you believe that? Unlimited maxing. Yo, see this? This is Delta V maxing right here, okay? This is Pepsi maxing. I'm gonna beat this joke into the ground so no one ever says it ever again. I'll take the cringe. I'll take the cringe tax for that. That's fine. Okay, the question, one catch. Vasia, depending on 7, I'd say the next flight. Actually, there's something about it. The shot from the control room. Phil, she floats, and that thing looks pretty good. Granted, they are not showing the front of the ship. I'd be curious to see the payload bay. Because these tanks are strong because they're pressurized, right? I'd be curious to see what happens to the unpressurized portion. Because from the landing video, it looks like it fell off. It looks like the...
Discovery, go at throttle up.
It looks like the front fell off. And it's near Australia. And it was removed from the environment. Hey, Broberts! Welcome to Mission Control. Your go at throttle up. The front fell off. It's joke maxing. God damn it. Damn it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The front did fall off. It did. It did fall off. It absolutely did. Hey, Linux,
Discovery,
what's up?
Go at throttle up.
Blue Flare, 58-month resub. The front fell off. It was outside the environment. Yeah. Don't lie. You are not sorry. Yeah. Remove maxing something. First day of work in the new year. Right on. Is the front supposed to fall off? Well, certainly not. I'd like to tell you that is very, very unusual for a ship of this size. Things that fell off. Starship Payloads Bay and Jump. Also, what the heck is New Glenn's launch time? I protest. Dude, we all do. Why would you do your inaugural launch in the middle of the night? Why? Okay. The front, is that where the passengers would sit? Well, yeah, Paper City, eventually, but you got to remember, I don't think they'd be doing a divert. 1 a.m. on Monday, Linux, because, you know. I want to go back to this shot right here. Let's look at this one in slow motion, vidya. Really, Dean? Oh, no. Watch this next shot. There's a shot from the OLM of separation.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Bro, that's sick. Oh, that's so cool. Hey, bid tier 377 months. Phil, you're guessing they're getting a long launch window and they don't want to close airspace for multiple hours during prime time. I guess. Yeah, maybe. Camera maxing. Seriously though, this shot right here, whatever this camera is, and it is at a really, really high shutter speed. That's, oh, dude. The interesting thing is, and you know, if you've been in space, if you've been following spaceflight for a long time, this is no secret. This what I'm about to say like goes all the way back to the Apollo program. Engineering cameras are often the top of the line movie cameras, like the cameras that you'd use to shoot a movie. They filmed all the Apollo launches. Their engineering cameras were 70 millimeter film cameras, which are, even to this day, like if you come from the film world, that's primo. That is primo stuff. 70 millimeter. So, okay, little bit of photography nerding here. You know, modern picture clarity is derived from like resolution, right? So a higher resolution is going to get you a crisper picture. Right? 70 millimeter, well, there is no exact way to compare like film millimeter to resolution. 70 millimeter, if you did, it would be somewhere above 4K. That's why if you, if you look at the Apollo 11, it's here. Give me 1 second. Where's the trailer? Did I pass it? Yeah, here. Check this out real quick. We won't, I mean, it's just a trailer, but. Look. That's the crawler transporter. The same crawler transporter that NASA uses right now. 50 years ago. Actually, 55 years ago, if you really want to be technical. That's a half century ago. Look at how crisp that picture is. Isn't that strange? The crawler transporter looks brand new, but look, this looks like it could have been taken yesterday, except for the trucks. There's a 64 Dodge right there and a 67 F-250 right there, and then a milk truck. Milk truck? When's the last time they made one of those? Actually, the modern equivalent technically would be like an Amazon or a UPS truck, but whatever, you get the idea. Look at how crisp this picture is. That's the rotor brake for in case anybody's wondering. Look at, there's a 1.5 right there. Look at this shot, man. Really, Jack, that sucks. Dude. Look at that. That's sped up footage, by the way. Bow now, bow now, bow now, bow now, boo doo 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 down now. Sorry, I heard the Huey noise. Look at that, man. So the point that I'm trying to make is that film cameras have been used for a very long time to get really, really crisp footage of the rocket launching, so you can see if anything goes wonky, like if a piece comes off, or you know how the ice propagates off the vehicle during ignition, or how your individual Raptors are doing. So shots like this are really good at, they're really good for engineering, for learning how, at least coming to conclusions about, like, okay, how tiles come off, for instance, or you know how your vehicle fares like during a certain weather condition, right? So these shots, SpaceX doesn't do these shots just because they look pretty. They do them because it's very, very useful visual information on how your vehicle is performing. This has been done since the 60s. It's super freaking cool. So some of these shots, that looks like it's out of a movie. Look at that shot. It's very crisp. really, really beautiful lighting and stuff. You see how you get some really, really hard contrast. I mean, that's camera settings too, but this footage is used for imaging stuff. It's used so the SpaceX engineers can go and review it and look at it and make sure that everything is working good. Like if your telemetry says that, you know, something happened, like there was a correction in your rates at T plus 1 minute and 20 seconds, right? Like I'm just making up stuff. Like if there was a real rate correction at T plus 100, like 1 minute and 20 seconds, right? You'd go back in the footage and look to see what's happening to the vehicle and get your visual information to corroborate your telemetry. It's really, really, really useful. So what I'm trying to tell you is that SpaceX doesn't do these hype videos. These pictures they didn't do this just because of the hype video. They did this for engineering purposes. Look at that picture. Look at that shot. It's beautiful. It's just the contrast going on here, the shadow being cast by the chines, the really high contrast. You could see up in the nozzles on the Raptor engines. You could see how the ice is moving around, how the ice is propagating on the outside of the vehicle at ignition. Or not at ignition, in flight. It's ridiculous. It's so cool. You could see the ice propagating through the tiles right there. That's something that they probably should figure out. But these hype videos are just a byproduct of all the engineering footage that SpaceX takes. It's really, really cool. Yeah, Linux, these are beautiful shots. Oh. Like, look, you could see how the plume interaction and the flow phenomenon that's happening inside of the hot staging ring. It's like I said, they don't take these cameras they don't have these cameras on there for our entertainment. Every one of these shots is an opportunity to learn something, or at least prove something, which is great. And these hype videos are just a byproduct of it, which is, I mean, it's still cool, but. Are you going to be streaming the Blue Origin launch? I'll be here, Linux. Yep. These are probably auto-tracked, Cake, if I had to guess. I wish I could have Jack and Max here telling me about these shots. Like, I know cameras, I know photography, but not as good as they do. Dude, real shuttle vibes right here. Real shuttle vibes from some of the separation shots. You can almost hear it. Guidance systems now converging. Starship's onboard computers commanding the vacuum engine nozzles to swivel, aiming the Starship for its precise target in space for main engine cutoff. You can hear it. Shuttle vibes for days. I work with a guy who used to be the track lead at NASA. He's told me they use auto tracking algos. They absolutely do, Roundabout. The shuttle program was tracked by hand, though. Yeah, guy with a trackball. Can you imagine the finesse that you need to track a rocket like 20 miles away? Or even 30, 40, 50, 100 miles? Yeah, this shuttle program was using trackballs with high-def cameras, believe it or not, on a PTZ turret. The PTZ turret is, for the military nerds, the PTZ turret is derived from this. It's derived from the Quad 50, believe it or not. Yep. NASA's cameras and imagings were surplus Quad 50 mounts. Yep. Don't get me wrong. I like the Quad 50s, but also cameras, like big cameras there for imaging rockets, are also good. I'd rather be filming the rockets instead of shooting them down. The Quad 50s are cool, though. That's pretty rad. Yep, there it is. Quad 50 mount. That's what they use to image turrets. Or they use these turrets to image rockets. That's what my brain's trying to say. Sorry, information overload. Why not 4 M134s? I mean, why not some 20mm Oerlikons? Why not both? Oh, that is... Dude, I would really hate to be the person on the receiving end of this. That would be very upsetting. See, there it is. There's your tracking cameras. There's a little seat in there, and you or film, you know. Well, you don't get to hate it for long, dude. Havocs, let's be real. If that thing's pointed at you, if the business end is pointing at you, just smile and wait for the flash. Just smile and wait for the flash, man. You know? Like, okay, all right. Don't run. You'll just die tired, man. It's a little bit of dark humor, excuse me. Yep. Anyway, awesome shots. This is good stuff, man. Real shuttle vibes from that picture. Just the way Super Heavy hot stages and moves away reminds me of the SRB separation from the shuttle, albeit with only one. Just smile and wait for the flash, man. Look at the engine relight. Oh, dude, that right there in itself is superbly impressive. Getting engines to relight when a booster is flying like that, think about it, right? You're going to go to separate it, right? And this is part of the reason why SpaceX does hot staging. So the booster is always under acceleration, right? Because it's easier to just keep the engines going than shut them off and turn them on. Well, some of them at least, right? You have to make sure your booster thrust to weight ratio is lower than your Starship thrust to weight ratio, right? Because during hot staging, they only have the 3 center Raptors going, or the 3 outer Raptors going, and then the 3 center Raptors fire, right? So you have to, the booster basically having to shut down most of its engines and keep the 3 in the centers going, right? And then separate it, and then the engine's turning and moving the booster around laterally like that, that's sloshing your propellants big time. Yeah, the booster's still under it's still under acceleration, so all the propellants are settled at the bottom of the tanks, right? But sloshing the propellants around like that, because the booster's physically turning around, right? And restarting 10 Raptor engines in sequence that is an extraordinarily difficult thing to do. Like, once again, this 10 years ago is science fiction, complete sci-fi. Like, this, you guys know that scene in Back to the Future 2, where Marty's in the Cafe 80s? Welcome to the Cafe 80s, where it's always morning in America, even in the afternoon. You must have the special. You remember that? And Marty finds Wild Gunman. And he's like, and it's like, and he wins. And the kids there are like, you mean you got to use your hands? It's like a baby's toy, right? This compared to Shuttle is that moment in a nutshell. This right there, even the staging sequence for Starship is more complicated than anything the Shuttle ever did. And I'm saying that as a Shuttle aficionado. I love the Space Shuttle. The Space Shuttle is chump change compared to this thing. Like, in terms of complexity. Like the Shuttle, your 3 engines are lit the whole way up. Easy peasy. No shutting engines off. No turning engines off. You know that the SRBs fire. The 3 engines fire. Oh, okay. It's 5 engines. Sometimes 7 if the Shuttle would fire its ohms on the way up to get a little bit of a boost. Right? I'm getting to it, Nova. Right? Like, this is... You got to use your hands? What do you mean? You don't shut the engines off? That's like a baby's toy. Like... The fact that they're relighting when the booster is radial to prograde velocity, basically the booster still has imparted velocity. It's flying that way, but it's facing that way. And it's able to light its engines without the propellant slosh being too hard is ridiculous. That alone in itself is like holy grail tech for rocket science. Lighting an engine is not as easy as you guys might think. It's not just like Kerbal, activate the engine. Okay, turn it on. We got thrust. No, you have to settle your propellants. It's easy to do when the rocket's down here because gravity is affecting all your propellants and pushing them down towards the pickups in the tanks. Easy peasy, right? That's not easy to do when the thing's flying through the air like that because, and once again, this is why they chose to do hot staging because it's simpler and it keeps your voice crack. It's simpler and it keeps your propellants it keeps the booster under acceleration so your propellants don't slosh around. But the propellants are still gonna move around like shaking a bottle of water when the thing turns like this. The fact that they're lighting engines when the booster is 90 degrees perpendicular, or 90 degrees off the flight vector, which is this way, that is hugely impressive stuff. Like, that is hugely impressive. Right there, just turning those engines on, no problem. Like, even the center 3 Raptors, those are lit basically from ignition all the way to the end of the boost back burn. That is a long burn. I mean, it's not shuttle engine long, but it's still pretty dang long. Curious the tank pressure they use to limit the fuel sloshing around. Well, ullage will only get you so far roundabout, right? But, you know, tank ullage is only going to get you so far to keep for like prop management. I mean, during the turn. I mean, maybe they press the tanks. Who knows, dude? It's hard to say. Like, also, just another thing real quick. I just want to point out that this thing is kicking up dust. Well, not dust. What's happened is the rocket engines are hitting the salt water and it's immediately evaporating the salt water. But it's also kicking up a wave that's almost as tall as the booster. So, okay, little bit of reference here. This booster is 220 feet up. The booster is as tall as a 22-story building. So if there's a high rise in the city near you or in the city that you live in, 22 stories, man. That's tall. It's very big. I think it's like 70 meters or something. That wave is almost up to the top of the booster. The splash that it kicks up. Is that ridiculous or what? Look. That's a big wave. Thanks. Now I'm imagining a sewer line getting overpressurized to do that. It's hokey. It's doable, dude. Clearly it's doable, but like, you know, you take it for quartz, right? Or granite. You know, oh yeah, of course they can relight the engines. Dude, relight in space is huge. That is a really difficult thing to do. Now, well, let me rephrase that. It was a difficult thing to do. Was. It ain't a difficult thing to do no more, I guess. I mean, like, best I can think is that there's a pressurized fuel LOX pipe between the tank and the turbo pumps to give it a couple seconds of guaranteed feed before settling occurs. I mean, Tessa, I think an easier way to solve that would be the baffling system inside of the tanks on Super Heavy, or a header tank. Right? A fluid buffer. Remember when we were playing Satisfactory, the old save, not the Pillar of Autumn save, where we made the refinery and I put a buffer tank in line with my refineries. We put a big buffer, we put all those buffer tanks in. So if there's a momentary loss of head pressure, if you have the right valves, right, the refineries will never lose pressure and you'll never stop. The refineries will never stop because of a fluid buffer. Well, they're using fluid buffers inside of Super Heavy in the form of the header tank. You know, the tank inside of the tank. That's a baffling device. So Tessa, I'll bet you that momentary thing that you're talking about is probably them shutting the valves to the header tank while the thing is turning around to make sure that you don't actually get an ullage ingestion in your engine. Right? Because this thing's turning all the way around, right? It's turning 180 degrees. They probably shut the valves to the header tank because you're only feeding 3 engines and then it's up to 10 and then they open it back up when the booster is settled back on the retrograde vector, right? Basically when it's banged to UE. It's quite baffling. I've been hanging around with Sawyer too much. All right, anyway, let's read this stuff real quick. I want someone to have a camera on your face when you see Starship in person. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. No silly comments. Just watch the video. Boop. Go to their website. But I want silly comments. Well, Vasi, you know that the replies to that are all going to be silly comments now, but Starship. We got to go to updates, right? Should be down for Flight 7 entropy. All right. The 7th flight test of Starship is preparing to launch. The upcoming flight test will launch a new generation ship with significant upgrades, attempt Starship's first payload deployment test, fly multiple re-entry experiments geared towards ship catch and reuse, and launch and return the Super Heavy booster. Zoom pulls. Working on it. Is that good, Vasya? Okay. A block of planned upgrades to the Starship upper stage will debut on this flight test, bringing major improvements to reliability and performance. The vehicle's forward flaps have been reduced in size and shifted towards the vehicle tip and away from the heat shield, significantly reducing their exposure to re-entry heating while simplifying the underlying mechanisms and protective tiling. Redesigns to the propulsion system, including a 25% increase in propellant volume, the vacuum jacketing of feed lines. A new fuel feed line system for the vehicle's Raptor vacuum engines, and an improved propulsion avionics module controlling the vehicle valves and readying sensors, and all additional vehicle performance and the ability to fly longer missions. They vacuum jacketed the feed lines? I'm thinking, Baronock, give me a second. Can you explain what that means? Yeah, dudes. Give me 1 second. Vacuum jacketed feed line sounds like a pain to work on. That's what I'm thinking, Victory. That's hugely complicated. But I'll get into that in a second. Guys, I'll tell you what vacuum jacketing is in a moment. Give me a second. Let me read it because it might be contextual. Let me read the rest of this. The ship's heat shield will also use the latest generation tiles and includes a backup layer to protect from missing or damaged tiles. Okay, they have the cilia backer. That's that white cloth that's behind the tiles. The vehicle's avionics underwent a complete redesign. I'm sorry, what? No YouTube stream, had to download Twitch. I didn't think this segment would be really, really big, Yo Mama, but I probably should have fired up the YouTube stream. That's totally my bad. Avionics underwent a complete redesign, adding additional capability and redundancy for increasingly complex missions like propellant transfer and ship return to launch site. Can you imagine being a software engineer for SpaceX and like going to your boss and saying, nah, it'd be better if we completely redesigned it from the ground up. And instead of getting, oh, we can't do that, that's not in the budget, and you get, yeah, please do that. Any software people out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That must be pretty sick. It's Fricky, yeah. It's not in the budget. We really shouldn't do it. Yeah, but if you do it now and you fix it now instead of refactoring later, it's more profitable in the long run because you don't have to sit there putting band-aid after band-aid after band-aid on your freaking code. No, it's not in the budget. I don't know what that means. I'm just gonna say no. Let's just refactor it again. It's cheaper. Why don't you get fricked, dude? I don't even work in software, and that pisses me off. Like, it is more than pain, truly. It really is, dude. I don't even work in software, and that's so annoying. I hate those people so much. Avionics upgrades include a more powerful flight computer, integrated antennas, which combine Starlink, GNSS. So that GNSS is global navigation satellite system. It's just another way to say GPS. I don't know if I got the acronym exactly right. Global Navigation Satellite System. And backup RF communication functions into each unit. Redesign inertial navigation and star tracking sensors. What the actual frick? Dude, that is a lot of work. Integrated smart batteries and power units that distribute data and 2.7 megawatt power across the ship to 21 high voltage actuators. I'm sorry, what? That is an incredibly high power system for something that is not connected to the grid. That's pretty cool, man. Holy crap. 2.7 megawatts! Okay, all right, here. A little bit of perspective, okay? Like a house, for instance. A house would be what? What do you think, guys? 10,000 watts? Maybe 20,000 watts? Maybe. This is like a house, like a regular residential house, right? 500 watts on a house that doesn't suck up power like mine. Mine's really, really high because I use a lot of power because of computers, right? We're talking maybe 2 kilowatts, 3 kilowatts, maybe. This is 2.7 megawatts. That is enough to power a town. For well, Starship's batteries probably don't last very long, but that's enough power to power a lot for a pretty good amount of time. Probably to spin up those turbo pumps. Well, Jack, Raptor doesn't have electrically assisted turbo pumps. It's a full flow stage combustion. So there's no electric motors on there. The electric motors are from the flaps. Wait, 21 high voltage actuators. 21. Oh, thrust vector control systems. So we have 6 Raptor engines. There's 2 TVC 2 thrust vector controllers on each engine. So that's 12. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 for the flaps. What's the other 5? Yeah, the Raptor vacuums don't gimbal. That's right, they're fixed. Payload door. Ah. Valves. Article, if I'm understanding this right from the pictures that we get out of Starbase, it looks like SpaceX is using a pneumatic actuator, which pneumatically actuated valve. So, right? Now, why would you do that? Well, if you have a valve inside of a fuel tank, you generally don't want an electrical wire going into said fuel tank. They figured that one out during the Apollo program, why that's a bad idea. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still occurs in the space program, but pneumatic actuators, no one's going to scoff anything if, you're pumping inert, non-reactive gas through your fuel tank, right? The banana dispenser, maybe the Pez dispenser. Yeah. I mean, dude, that's crazy. Okay, so in an increase to more than 30 vehicle cameras, giving engineers insight into hardware performance across the vehicle during flight. With Starlink, the vehicle is capable of streaming 120 megabits per second of real-time high-def video and telemetry in every phase of flight. That's better than my... That's... Well, it's not better than my connection, my ground-tethered connection, but it's pretty dang respectable for something that's flying 25,000 miles an hour. Well, it's not 25. It would be about 20,000 at peak heating. Probably somewhere in there. It actually is probably less than that. It's still fast, all right? Yeah, that's 1/10 of my connection. But the fact that it's on something going 17,000 miles an hour, 17,500, that's what it is, at the very least. Keep in mind, during entry interface, it's higher because you're falling back down, right? Yeah, that's 120 up. Exactly. 120 up from something that's traveling 5 times the speed of a rifle bullet. is pretty freaking impressive, dude. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. And providing invaluable engineering data to rapidly iterate across all systems. Okay, you said next paragraph. All right. Well in space, Starship will deploy 10 Starlink simulators, similar in size and weight to the next generation Starlink satellites as the first exercise of a satellite deployment mission. The Starlink simulators will be on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship, with splashdown targeted in the Indian Ocean. A relight of a single Raptor engine while in space is also planned. Does the ISS have Wi-Fi? Yes, of course. Graham, the ISS does have a pretty dang good internet connection. I'll be honest with you, it's probably better than 120 Mbps up, megabits per second. It's probably way better. It's not probably. It is way better than that. The problem is the bandwidth on the ISS sucks because that high-speed connection, most of it is being used to downlink data, telemetry from the ISS. Remember, the ISS is controlled from Houston and from Star City in Moscow, outside of Moscow. The control room for the ISS is not on the ISS. So a lot of the connection is being used to downlink telemetry to all the systems. Which, yeah, the internet sucks on there. It's a high-speed connection, but there's no bandwidth. So yeah, it does have Wi-Fi on it, and it does have a really high-speed internet connection. It's just the bandwidth sucks because most of it is being used. How long do you think it'll be before telemetry isn't consistently downlinked to Earth? The next generations of space stations, Hellfish, are probably not going to do that. So does this indicate they want to move to operational Starlink missions while still developing the ship and booster for further things, tankers, etc.? Yeah, Halingar. I mean, you might as well. It's not, Creation. It's a constant downlink. It's not disabled. All right. The flight test will include several experiments focused on ship return to launch site and catch. On Starship's upper stage, a significant number of tiles will... Let me read that again. The flight test will include several experiments focused on ship return to launch site and catch. Starship's upper stage, a significant number of tiles will be removed to stress test vulnerable areas across the vehicle. Multiple metallic tile options, including one with active cooling, will test alternative materials for protecting Starship during re-entry. On the sides of the vehicle, non-structural versions of ship catch fittings are installed to test the fitting's thermal performance, along with the smooth and tapered edge of the tile line to address hot spots observed during re-entry on Starship's 6th flight test. The red tiles, dudes. The red tiles. Phil, transpiration cooling is back. I would say, personally, that transpiration cooling is probably in key areas, forward flaps. And before you say, well, isn't that way more complicated? No. You have header tanks. You're already moving propellant up there. Might as well. It's there. Already use it. The header tank runs on the windward side of the vehicle, doesn't it? The header tank lines. Tap off the line. Dude, it's pretty smart. Like, when you think about it, when you put two and together, like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Right? You're already running plumbing up there. You might as well, in high heat areas, have some film cooling to help you out. I still got to define vacuum lines. I'll tell you that in a second. The ship's reentry profile is being designed to intentionally stress the structural limits of the flaps while at the point of maximum entry dynamic pressure. Yep. Finally, several radar stations will be tested on the tower chopsticks with the goal of increasing the accuracy when measuring distances between the chopsticks and a return vehicle. Yeah, they cooked the catch antenna. That's why they lost Booster 13. I'm pretty sure. Sorry for the off topic. Anyone else on chat notice a slight delay between EJ's video and voice? We good? Why have an antenna on the tower and not chopsticks? You need to have a reference frame, Graham. The chopsticks move. Having a moving reference frame when you're trying to do a
Discovery,
precision
go and
landing is
throttle up.
probably not the smartest idea. Blorp! What's up, Mike? 97-month resub. Here, the headset went out there. It idled, so let me let's get Starbase Live audio patched in on the back end so the headset doesn't go out. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Happy New Year. They should cover the antennas when Starship is lifting off and open cover for recovery. Death, that's good, but that's just another moving part in the system. That's just another moving part. I would look at that if I'm understanding how SpaceX engineers things, and I've been following this for a long time. That's not a bad idea, dude, right? But SpaceX doesn't want. They're trying to simplify. They're trying to have as the least amount of moving parts in your system, because an antenna deflector, right, to deflect the flames from the antenna during liftoff is just another thing that can fail. You're trying to simplify the system as much as possible. So what's another solution? Several radar sensors will be tested. A redundant antenna is a little bit easier, right? That's not a moving part. An antenna is a passive system. If the antenna is moving, you've got a problem. So upgrading the sensors and basically hardening your antenna would be how SpaceX does that. That would fit in with what they're trying to do. You don't want another part to make your part work if your part doesn't work, right? So how SpaceX thinks about things, at least this is how I see it. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. They would look at the antenna. Okay, the antenna broke on our last flight from liftoff, right? Now, in the past, like what they would have done with the shuttle program, right, is like, oh, they would have put a shield in front of it. Now you never have to worry about your antenna getting broken. SpaceX looks at that and says, no, that's an extra part. Why would you do that? That's stupid. Make a better antenna. You're failing to address the root issue of this problem. You need an antenna to be next to this thing when the rocket takes off. If the antenna breaks when the rocket lifts off, it's not a good enough antenna. Redesign the antenna. And that's exactly what they seem to be doing, right? You're putting a shield in front of it is failing to address the root problem. Does that make sense? At least that's how SpaceX does it. And don't get me wrong, guys. In engineering, there's 1,000 different ways to achieve a certain task. Look at a Rube Goldberg machine, right? A Rube Goldberg machine it demonstrates this. There's 1,000 ways to do a task. When you're engineering, you try to find the simplest way to do it. That's not a bad idea, Death, though. And that might be what they end up doing if that's the simplest solution. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that SpaceX will probably try to do something else before that happens, right? Okay, the Super Heavy booster will utilize flight-proven hardware for the first time. Ho ho. I'll check that in a second, Phil. I have the link open. Reusing a Raptor engine from the booster launched and returned on Starship's 5th flight test. Hardware upgrades to the launch and catch tower will increase reliability for booster catch, including protections to the sensors on the tower chopsticks that were damaged at launch and resulted in the booster offshore divert. See what I'm talking about, Death? That's how SpaceX does it. You got to think about this when you're trying to figure out what they're doing. Trying to figure out what they're doing. Simplest way possible to achieve a complicated task. That is engineering in a nutshell. Find the simplest way to do whatever you're trying to do. That's what makes a good engineer. Anyone can engineer something that achieves a task. That's what separates engineers from us mere mortals, right? An engineer finds the easiest way to do said task. I remember they were testing an engine extensively after flight. Interesting. Same with programming. That's why they're called software engineers, dude. That was Starbase Live in the background. Yeah. Keep it simple, stupid. That's why engineers say that. Yep. Distinct vehicle and pad criteria must be met prior to a return and catch of the Super Heavy booster, requiring healthy systems on the booster and tower and a final manual command from the mission's flight director. Bird maxing in 2025. This command is not sent prior to the completion of the boost back burn, or if automated health checks show unacceptable conditions with Super Heavy or the tower, the booster will default to a trajectory that takes it to a landing burn and soft splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico. Set phasers to stun. We accept no compromises when it comes to ensuring the safety of the public and our team, and the return will only take place if the conditions are right. The returning booster will slow down from supersonic speeds, resulting in audible sonic booms in the area around the landing zone. Generally, the only impact to those in the surrounding area of a sonic boom is a brief thunder-like noise with variables like weather and distance from from the return site determining the magnitude experienced by observers. This year will be transformational for Starship, with the goal of bringing reuse of the entire system online and flying increasingly ambitious missions as we iterate towards being able to send humans and cargo to Earth orbit, the Moon, and Mars. Stupid question. Do you hear sonic booms when it's going up?
Discovery,
It's not a stupid question at all, Jack. You would hear sonic booms if you were in front of it. There's not much in front of it when it's going up. There's a lot in front of it when it's coming down, though, right? Sonic booms are directional, dude. Just like a speaker. You ever stand behind a speaker? That bird did. You ever stand behind a speaker? It's harder to hear it. Sound is directional. You got to remember that. Sonic booms are directional in nature. Yeah. Weird, right? Maybe I should put on a different video too, or a different live stream so we don't get bird maxing in the background. We all hated the shuttle return salute back in the day. So, all right. Yet they insist on making speakers face the wrong way on modern televisions. Yeah, they reverb it off the wall, Mayor. Is this a bird watching stream now? Yes. All right, so vacuum. God, all right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. I'd rather have the headset timeout. All right, yeah, that's enough of that.
Discovery,
RT 85 monthly sub. Thank you. All right, so okay. The vacuum jacketing of feed lines. Okay. Paint. So. This is a pipe, right? Say this is your prop feed line. Okay. What they're doing is there's a pipe inside of a pipe. Okay. And please excuse the crudity of this drawing. I didn't have time to build it to scale or to paint it. All right, so you have this area here around the pipe, or it's a burrito. I don't know, pick one. So this area around the pipe is brought down to vacuum. I always forget how many C's are in vacuum, or if it's 2 U's. Vacuum. They'll be dead soon. Freaking kangaroos. All right. So this area around it is brought down to vacuum. Why? Well, oh, I spelled it right. Yeah, baby. Well, check this out. So this would be looking at it from the front profile, or you're looking at a donut. Take your pick. We could have sprinkles on our donut. You know, it's fine. Okay, so having a vacuum seal in here is preventing heat transfer to your propellants. It's preventing heat transfer. Okay? So say this is inside, this is a methane feed tube, and in here is your LOX tank, right? And then, okay, say this is Starship, right? You have your little winglings on either side, and then you have your... That looks good coming out of the back of its neck there. So you have your LOX here, and then this is a CH4, a methane feed line, right? So LOX, so LOX is minus 183 C, okay? And then methane, really? So methane is 162 C, okay? There's a temperature differential here. Actually, I didn't know methane. I forgot them. Really? That can't be right. Hang on one second. Interesting. All right, cool. Forgot about that. Getting rusty. We got to do more space stuff. So, look, long story short, minus 183, right, is less than minus 162 C, right? You have a, what, 21 degree delta T right here, okay? You have a 21 degree change in temperature. Heating or cooling methane, you could get methane solidification. That phase graph, that's what that stupid graph just said. Look at this graph! Look, if you bring liquid methane down to 183 C, it can solidify. Bad. Don't want that. You don't need solid stuff in your liquid fuel feed lines. Does that make sense? You could get methane solidification on the outside of the line. Now, there are ways to get around this. I just don't know if... Well, we should say that. There are ways to get around it. Vacuum insulating your lines does it. Now, why? Why does the vacuum... So, this is vacuum all in here, right? Why does vacuum do that? Well, vacuum is nothing. It's the absence of heat. There's nothing there, right? And if there's nothing, that means light is the only way you're going to get any type of thermal transfer. And unless SpaceX has a flashlight inside of the vacuum, right, that's shining light in there, you're not going to get any thermal transfer there. The vacuum basically insulates. It's a vacuum insulated line. You use vacuum insulation every day if you have one of these. So you notice that the top of this thermos right here is tapered. See, it goes out like that. It's beveled outward. There's a vacuum chamber in here. And then the thermos that actually holds the liquid is sitting inside of the vacuum, just like that propellant line. And that keeps it cool. You are going to get some thermal transfer from here if you have cold or warm. I was about to say propellant. Don't drink propellant. It's bad for you. But if you poured like dry ice in here, it's going to stay cold for a long period of time. Vacuum prevents the thermal transfer. It prevents your heating up of propellants. That's why they're doing it. Because you're, in this particular case, freezing. The liquid oxygen, and you got to remember, SpaceX is using densified liquid oxygen like they are with Falcon 9. So their LOX temperature is probably lower. They almost get LOX to the point of solidifying. It's like a slush almost. So we're talking about a huge change in temperature. Your liquid oxygen can freeze your methane. That's why they're vacuum sealing the lines. You get better performance that way. Because if you freeze the methane, it's not going to flow very well. Yeah. And you could... Anybody live where it's cold? Anybody familiar with frozen pipes? Pretty sure we don't want that in a rocket. Because if it freezes, if the methane solidifies, it'll expand in the pipe. And it could crack the pipe. And if it cracks the pipe, you have liquid methane basically leaking into your liquid oxygen tank. That's not... I don't think it needs to be said, but that's not what... You don't want that. You don't want that at all. The car equivalent of that would be like taking a jug of gasoline and pouring it on your engine when it's running. It might be fine, but most likely it's not. Maybe that's a solution to the ice clogging problem they had before. Now, Bob, that was with super heavy, if I'm recalling correctly, but also, yeah, you're probably right. Does methane expand when solidified, or is that just a water thing? Most things expand when they solidify, Trunks. Yeah, most things do. No, it's just a water thing? Actually, no. All right. You guys say so. I'm pretty sure. Whatever. I guess it temperature matters, and in this particular case... Yeah, you guys are probably right. Sorry. I was thinking freaking water. You don't want pipes bursting. FYI, blue slipped to Tuesday. Good times. It's on water due to the hydrogen bonds. Doesn't methane have hydrogen bonds too? Just putting it out there. Like, okay, clearly I need to learn more about this. All right, anyway, moving on. So, okay, even if methane solidification in your lines doesn't cause expansion, let's just play off the notion that you guys are right and I'm incorrect. That's fine, whatever. Solidification can screw with your flow rates at that point. They'll screw with your flow rates because you're impinging a pipe. You do not want to deprive your engines of fuel and oxygen when they're on, unless you're shutting it off. There's a shutdown sequence on a motor for a reason. If you constrict the flow rate from methane solidification, you have a big problem. That'll most likely blow up a Raptor because it'll lean out and melt. Materials that expand upon free... Oh, there's a Wikipedia for it, Ando. Look at that. Silicon does that. Plutonium. Plutonium expands when it freezes. I need to study chemistry more. Yep. I think that's we will chem max in 2025. Frozen plutonium. Frozen plutonium is just normal plutonium. Yeah, I suppose you're right. How long is this segment today? I don't know, man. I don't know. I came up here to the office 15 minutes before my normal start time and decided to do a space news segment instead because of all this Starship information that just came out. So I don't know. Kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. Would supercooled plutonium technically expose more surface area to reactions? Creation, I don't know. 5 minutes ago, I thought methane expanded when it froze. Okay, so clearly I'm not the guy to ask, dude. That's what I'm trying to get at. Clearly I'm not the guy to ask. Like, you just ask them. You know? Oh, shoot. NASA Authorization Act. Halengar, I'm not, I haven't been covering the NSF, the NSF, the NASA Authorization Act because we don't know if that's actually going to happen. I've been waiting on talking about anything with the Artemis program until probably at least late January. That's entirely on purpose. That's great. There's a new Authorization Act. See how long that lasts. Yeah. Jim, sounds like we need to do some chemistry. Be right back. You guys are all gonna call me a damn dinosaur, and I don't give a frick. All right, I'm writing it down. I have a little green book for writing stuff down. That's part of my thing. A green book. Chemistry streams. Question. There. Yeah. My to-do list. Real paper. Bro, look. I fully understand that you could do all this on your phone. And I have lists on my phone of stuff to do. I find that writing it down makes it stick in this caveman brain up here. All right, you got to remember, the hardware's from 1988, all right? I got to write stuff down. They were writing stuff down in 1988, all right? Jeez. So I'm going to write stuff down, bro. No, I find that writing it down makes me remember it better. So I actually remember to do things because that's kind of important. I write stuff down, homies. Seriously. People are going to give you crap for it. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. I'm telling you, I wrote down notes from a press conference from the ESA in my ESA book. I'm not calling it ESA. That sounds stupid. This was a press conference about commercial lunar payload services, the Blue Ghost mission. And I wrote down tons of notes about the entire press conference and all the questions. I still remember this. This was like a month and a half ago, something like that. How did I get an ESA book? Well, they gave it to me. Obviously. You're stupid. Yeah, I know, Jackal. I just said that. What is there, an echo in here? Some chemistry reactions are really cool to see. You know, I wrote down chemistry streams question. I'm not going to lie to you. Just lighting some magnesium on fire would probably be a cool stream. Not that you should do that. Don't do that. But also, I might use it as an excuse to just light magnesium on fire. That's... Quick peek at it and to think it was nice handwriting. Oh, Dude, yeah, that here. I don't do chicken scratch. I don't do chicken scratch for the same way. Like when we were designing stuff in KSP, I designed it to make it idiot proof. Because if I'm writing down chicken scratch, I'm probably not going to be able to read it later. So when I was in college, I really, 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 really worked on making notes legible for everyone to read. You unfortunately did all your notes in cursive. Why would you do that? it was quicker. Give me 1 second. No, it's not. No, it's rat. Hey, 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 here. All right. Here. There you go. There you go. Can you read that? You have beautiful cursive? I do not have beautiful cursive now. The NASA worm logo is cursive. No, it's not. It is a sans serif. You filthy heathen. Get out of here. Really just pen maxing here, aren't we? Yep. Comic Sans or leave. Get out. Schools don't teach cursive anymore. It is functionally useless in modern society. It's almost like it was never useful, Grav, but learning it helps you get into a habit of doing things that you don't want to do. You understand that homework is also useless by that definition. You don't turn in homework at work. Homework is there to get you into a habit of doing things that you don't want to do and getting it done and being a functioning adult. Cursive feeds into that. No, I will not change my mind and I will die on this hill. Learn cursive. That's the joke.jpg. Put a stupid kappa after it then, man. Jeez. Okay, Boomer, you suck. You guys suck. Anyway, all right. Any other questions about this? Oh, Hokey, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. Let me see. Is it legible? If they don't teach cursive, how do they teach people to sign things? Yeah, that's right, right? New Glenn has been delayed to the 8th. I'll take that as a no. Ah, ME 4614. All right. Reliability, definition of example. Machine with 10 learning gearing sets. Bearing sets. Uniform identical bearings. Each is noted with L to the 10th life, reliability of 90%. L subscript 10. Yeah. It wouldn't be to the 10th now, would it? Time to failure is dependent on moment. Those notes were 12 years ago. What is that word? Okay, this just became work. No thanks. What is this word? Mama Laura, manufacturer. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. 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 Look. Mine are nice and legible. These are my notes. I make them easy to read. I make them easy to understand. Mama just killed me. Oh, that's my notes. So yeah, I like writing stuff down. In 2025, I'm getting back to writing stuff down. Cool. All right, excellent. All right, so you guys want to talk about Newglands? Was Newglands delayed? The finest notes ever. To be fair, I turned to a random page and flipped pages until I found something semi-relevant. Bearings. Bearings are cool. Give me 1 second. I just realized what Newgland is. Why chat keeps calling it that? Newglands. New Glen doesn't really roll off the tongue. I understand why they call it that, and I'm happy that Blue Origin calls it that, but Newglands rolls off the tongue way better. Newglands. Snooch to the Newglands. Did it all for the Newglands. Come on, the Newglands. Come on, so you could take that payload and stick it into space. Stick it into space. Stick it into space.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Should write a remix. It'll work. Glenny is even better. No, it's not. No, it's not. Commander Shep, 37-month resub. How about NG? You know, EJ, you and I hear that song a lot differently. I don't know what that means, but all right. Just doing. Did you watch the 6 flight test video from SpaceX yet? No, Schnooze. We've been sitting here talking about how we want to have a bird watching stream instead. We've decided that we don't like rockets anymore. We want to go observe mallards in their migratory patterns. Chirp, chirp. Yeah, see? Yeah, no, Schnooze, we talked about it. And then dude, read the hype video is great, but read their the Flight 7 updates off of their website. It's crazy, dude. Sorry, some of us work. Gee, I'm just messing with you, dude. It's all good. Yeah. I actually have it open. Here, this is what you want. I'll post the link up for you. There's some very, very, very nice tidbits of information in here. We've discovered we need to know about liquid fuels and temperatures in rockets. Something like that. Ooh. So, Snooze, the short story is that Block 2, I'll share the EGS stuff in a second. The short story, dude, is that Block 2 is like a complete redesign of Starship, of most of Starship's like critical systems. So the electrical harness is completely redone. It's totally new. It's able to carry up to 2.7 megawatts of power, which is that's a lot of watts. They completely redesigned the avionics software and avionics hardware. A complete avionics redo, which is okay. They're also working on upgrading the sensors because they confirmed that the reason why Flight 6 didn't have a booster catch is because they broke the antenna that Super Heavy was looking for. On launch, the antenna, that thing on the top that tilted over to the side is the... Yeah, they basically all but confirmed it. Yeah. Yeah, that's silence. Silence! I kill you! Levels of juice. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. Yeah. Is Flame Trench happening today? It should be. 25% increase in propellant volume. Yep. Yep. It's the Pi engine? No way. Yeah. Another thing, Schnooze, is that they're reusing a Raptor. They're using Raptor 314. This was flown on Flight 5. I don't know, Jackal. I have no idea. So that, I'd say that's a pretty good confirmation right there. You know, from that guy, from Elon himself. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say that it's probably that one. Sent another image of my book's notes that I still have. Oh, geez. It'll be the first reflown engine. What do you got here, Hokey? Game over. Hey, all right. You got a Puma. Discord potatoed it, dude. Quackulous. Ooh, CAD cam. I could probably. Oh, yes. This image is not potato. What do you got here? Electric energy, electrical engineering, engineering vibration, systems dynamics, linear systems and signals. University physics, university quackulous, elementary differential equation. Hey, you didn't return the book, dude. Mathematics at a glance. Calculus with analytic geometry. Fundamentals of heat and mass transfer. Ooh, probably get that one. Fundamentals of fluid mechanics. Fundamentals of engineering thermodynamics. Math at a glance is from your dad's time in college. Yeah, it looks like something you'd find in Cave Johnson's office. CAD cam? Yeah, baby. Nice. What's going on there? What, are you welding stuff? Yes! My guy, dude. My freaking guy. There, now we're talking right there. Excuse me. Nice. I legit forgot I had that book up there. Don't hurt me. Why do you have that book up there is my question. It's not the same book. Yeah, it is the same book. What do you mean it's not the same book? You're the same book. It's definitely the same book. Your dad has a 2007 outside. I'll buy it for $1. Is that Noble Team up there too? Dude. Nice. Noble Team. Good man. All right. And I sit above an 84 GTT top. I'll buy it for $1. I'd buy that for $1. All right, check this out. This is I'll buy it for $2. No, frick you, man. I'll buy it for $5. Wait, you can't even have it. There's an ocean in the way. Now I'm looking at the book. All right. That we should put this away before I start reading. Okay. Cool. Yep. Nope. Lemprod. I'm ignoring that. All right. Anyway. All right. Last Saturday, teams used 2 self-propelled modular transporters to move Mod 4, one of the 7 modules that make up Mobile Launcher 2, the Mobile Launcher 2 tower. Teams transported Mod 4 from its assembly site called the Mod Yard, 6 miles across Kennedy to Mobile Launcher 2 park site near the vehicle assembly building. There, teams prepared to stack the mod atop the tower's chair, which was assembled on the Mobile Launcher base in October. Why don't you guys just say you're taking this piece and putting it over there? Actually, that's some pretty good progress, dudes. What is it level? It's true level. How long before they top it off? Jim, I'd have to say at the rate of construction that they're working at, this will be done in June or July or something. No YouTube live. I planned on this. I didn't plan on this segment to be too incredibly long. I will pop in on the YouTube stuff now. Is it just me or is there no stream on YouTube? Give me a second. Do you have Rocket Owner's Workshop Manual? I do not have that. No, don't. No, work is in resources. No, we must. No, we have to finish maximalizing. We have a big conundrum to deal with in South America here with maximalizing. So give me a second to fire up the YouTube stream. Hokie, thank you for sharing that. And it's very clear that I need to get better at chemistry. Okay. Shows you how far they have the other tower sections also. Oh, cool. Yeah, the Axis powers are pissing me off. We're going to have to rid them out of the hemisphere. Okay. All right. YouTube stream's ready to go. Let me retitle this. Retitle the Twitch stream. The Flame Trench is at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we have the Thuraya 4 launch coverage after that. That's what I'm doing for After Hours. I'm doing the Thuraya 4 coverage for NSF. Tonight. So yeah, it's gonna be, we're gonna do Hearts, then Flame Trench, and then Thuraya.